90.3 Voice of the People of 3 minutes past 7 o'clock in our studio. Thank you so much for joining us and welcome to the show. This is where Nigeria's finest conversation takes place every evening. We're here to dissect topical conversations that you have been talking about all day. My name is Precious. Hey, welcome to the show. And yes, this show is produced by Promise. I'll run you quickly through the hot topics of the day. If I don't, who will? So the idea is to give you topical conversation, especially as it affects you, a Nigerian, and the citizen generally, right? That's what it is. So let's get down to the hot topic this evening. Okay, hitting the ground running. Okay, Lagos-Calabar Highway will retain original route to save submarine cables. This is credited to Minister of Works, Dave Umahi. And then we go to some statistics of foodstuff according to, or as released by the NBS, the National Bureau of Statistics. How the prices of gari, beans, yam, and other staple foods, including tomatoes, increased, or how they have fared rather before and after Tinubu's administration. That is within President Bola Ahmed Tinubu's administration. And I think it will be interesting for you to, get that. And then also look at other items or other, things that we consume, or not consumables now. Okay. Other services or perhaps items like gas, cooking gas, just name it, right? Okay, we'll also look at that, how they have fared or how those prices have fared within this administration. We go straight to Benue Street where we hear the headsmen attack 5 Benue Assembly members. 5 of them were attacked by armed headsmen. Lagos. And then, there's a story about a Benue State University student who committed suicide for repeatedly failing one course over and over again. But then, about that suicide, the deceased relatives threatening me, the professor in charge of that course has said that, the relatives are threatening him. We'll move on to other issues. PDP tenders apology to ABIANs, says we've learned our lessons. We don't learn our lesson. We say we goof like this, but right now we don't learn our lesson. Lagos, these are the hot topics I will be visiting this evening. And let's take a quick break there. We'll be right back as we begin to dissect them. Did I also tell you that we'll also look at Nigeria's GDP as it declines in first quarter of 2024 amid severe hardship, according to this report. Lagos, these are the hot topics. We'll be right back after the break. Stay with us. This is 90.3 Voice of the People FM. Good evening.
Sit tire for here. Put on for in neck. Burn am. Yes, you no go find better work do. Na yahoo dem go dey do. Stop!
That person wey you wan born, if it dey innocent, no go carry person blood put for your head. Jungle justice no good at all. Stop am.
You wey light the fire, you no get heart. Say no to jungle justice.
You uncle wey follow for the crowd dey look wey dem dey born person, you no stop them. E dey do you like film abi? Your hand sef no clean o. You fit enter gbege. Stop the lynching. Stop jungle justice.
Under the criminal law for Lagos State, person wey start jungle justice, those wey support am and those wey just don't look, all of them fit rot for jail. My name na Benjamin Hundeyin, Lagos State Police talk person. Stop jungle justice.
This message now from Lagos State Police Command
and VOP 90.3 FM.
From the views on the street,
we go to bed empty hunger,
to the blaring horns of a hustling city. The loudest voices of the common man got a medium to be heard.
This particular administration, they were coming unprepared.
It's not a bad thing to renovate the president's lawn.
Through top-notch programming, unbiased reportage of news, sports, business, entertainment, and cultural documentaries, Voice of the People 90.3 FM became a symbol for 21st century media. And now, a new baby is born. Voice of the People Television, VOP TV, youthful, full of vigor and pressure for excellence in the continent's media space, exposing the wrongs, applauding the rights, Dissecting the news without fear or favor, through factual and accurate stories and contents.
Corruption kills three things that makes a society.
Representing the interests of the people and giving them a voice. Voice of the People TV is here to stay towards building a fair society. VOP TV, Voice of the People Television, truly a voice for the people.
Yes, Lagos, you are welcome back. It is still 90.3 Voice of the People FM. And let's get started with this conversation about Umahi, right? As the Lagos State Coastal or the Lagos-Calabar Coastal Highway will retain its original route in order to save submarine cables, according to the Minister of Works, Dave Umahi. Now, this was closed yesterday, Thursday, 23rd May 2024, at the third stakeholders meeting at the coastal in Lagos. So Dave Umahi announced that the federal government will abandon the proposed new route of the Lagos-Calabar Coastal Highway from kilometers 16 to 25 and revert to the original gazetted alignment. The decision came after a 2-hour session that included presentations and question and answer segment with the representatives of telecommunications companies, residents of Ukwaja community, and other stakeholders. So Umahi highlighted that reverting to the old alignment would result in the demolition of 750 illegally built houses, whereas the new alignment would lead to the demolition of 490 houses. It was tough. It was a tough decision, but the concerns raised by stakeholders, particularly telecommunications companies, played a significant role. So, the group CEO of Machine and Equipment Consulting of Africa emphasized the critical nature of telecommunications infrastructure at risk. The 2 Africa submarine cable, West African cable systems, and a 50 megawatt power plant supporting these cables are located at Mopo. Distributing this infrastructure would have national security implications and could affect internal internet connectivity across Africa, not just Nigeria, as seen in recent subsea cable disruptions. If you realize, some of the telecommunication companies have been having issues with their network, and of course, it's been linked to some of those issues mentioned just now. So the stakeholders urged the government to revert to the original gazetted alignment to protect these critical infrastructures. In response, Umahi announced the decision to abandon the new alignment and return to the old one at kilometer 25. Now, this decision was met with applause and relief from the Ukwaja residents, who were concerned about the potential demolition of their ancestral homes. So Umahi clarified that this decision was due to President Bola Ahmed Tinubu's intervention and not merely because of the community pushback. The stakeholders praised the government for being responsive and adaptive to their concerns. President Tinubu is expected to flag off the coastal road project in Lagos on Sunday. By the way, that ceremony ended with some of those stakeholders who community singing, on your mandate you shall stand, and praising the government. But then again, looking at the conversation before my guest joins in, is if we are reverting, or the federal government is reverting to the initial route, as it were, then why the hula baloo? I'm sorry if I use that word. Because you'd recall that when Landmark Beach was to be demolished, the Landmark, there were information making it round. Even the Landmark Group did announce that the reason why they have their property the way it is because they had gone through the route, the proposed route, or the initially proposed route for that project, and that it did not in any way get close to them. But this new route now, adopted by the present administration, is now the one that affects their properties. Why can't we simply adopt the old route? And then they said no. But there was that argument at that time, and nothing happened. Landmark Beach, the Good Beach, and other, infrastructure around that area were demolished. And a whopping about 2.7 billion naira was spent on compensation, or at least, as said by the Minister of Works, Dave Umahi. Many will wonder, if we have spent this much, you'd realize that the minister already mentioned that if we were to toll the old routes, we were going to demolish 750 illegally built houses. But if we maintained this new route, we would only have to demolish 490. Fair enough, right? But then again, does it mean that the government didn't do the needful, as it were, to ensure that other assets were protected before choosing the option of the second route? For instance, you recall that in the second stakeholders conference, a journalist did ask a question about the environmental impact assessment made available. Because naturally that should be made available to know whether that is that check where they're supposed to check to make sure, see, this area won't build this thing, see the kind things the damage the thing will do for our environment, or the good way it will cause for the environment, or the kind things will happen for the environment during the period it will build this road, whether it's good or bad, make away our losses and gains, right? And then Minister Dave Umahi then clearly stated that that environmental impact assessment is available and ready, and that will be made available to journalists. But then again, in this third conference, he did announce that, unfortunately, citing some aspect of the Freedom of Information Act, that information will no longer be made available to journalists. So therefore, don't worry about it. Well, I have joining me in the studio Dr. Oluwasegun Ganiyu. Oluwasegun Ganiyu is, by the way, he's a tax collector. I call him that. He's a tax collector, but apart from that, he's also a current affairs analyst, and he wears many caps. Many feathers in his cap, I would like to say. But he is a managing partner for KJB. KJB is in charge of, they do auditing, taxes, as I said, and other issues. Dr. Ganiyu, thank you so much for joining me.
Thank you for having me.
So just before we go to other issues, I'd like your thoughts on this reversal to the old route for the Lagos-Calabar Coastal Highway.
Yeah, it's a very good thing in the right direction.
Okay.
However, also you look at we have two school of thought. Some school of thought says that there are some powerful people over there that he has started stepping their stool, and so they need to cry and say, guys, we are Lagos people, so don't cross that route, right?
Wait, powerful people after some other infrastructures have already been
yes, when you get to some boundaries, say don't go there.
Oh wow.
We are the cabal here, right?
Wow.
And so when you step on toe that you shouldn't, they will just say, let me call your boss.
So there are toes that are bigger than toes. Interesting.
So your boss will speak to you.
But ordinarily, didn't you think that it would have been fair enough for the federal government to had made available, or probably looked at the environmental impact assessment?
Definitely. That is the first thing to do.
Isn't it embarrassing that we now have to hear that, submarine cables will be affected?
You see, this is one of the things that we will look into, and at times it looks as if it's embarrassing, is we are always reactive, we are not proactive. Right? We react to situation. We begin to plan as it comes on the way. These are things that should be done earlier on. So EIA should be done earlier on, environmental impact assessment, to see how it's going to impact the people in that environment. What are the underlying things we have there? There are some typical roads that you cannot build on, because once you build on it, it's going to affect the pipeline, because there's a passage around that area. So all these things are the investigation that should have been done earlier on, before even thinking of embarking on it. This is how it happened in a natural way. When you take a business engagement, there's what we call feasibility study. You do a feasibility study to confirm if what you are going to do, it's actually feasible, that it actually is going to bring a good returns or not. So in kind of this in kind of these activities, their own feasibility study should be an environmental impact assessment, right? To carry it, to have an holistic overview of it and say that what's the damage. And I do say something in my line of field, we call something that CBA, cost benefit analysis. So you weigh the cost and the benefit. If the cost overweigh the benefit, then there is a trigger that says that do not embark on those kind of projects, right? But if the benefit overweigh the cost, then you ignore.
Like a simple 80-20 rule, right?
Very well, right? So you ignore. Right, so these are things, because if you look at it now, they have spent so much on this. A lot of
about
billions
2.7 billion so far have been spent on compensations. I'm not talking about the money that have been spent on the first, but in the first place, do you even think that the award of this contract was properly done?
You see, in a proper company setting, the minister should receive a query. In a proper comp. Yes.
Why do you say so?
Yes, because you are embarking on things and you get to at a midpoint and you now discover that, you see, if it's a business owner and you lost over almost $1 trillion, right? The business, if it's not strong, is going to nosedive. Right, because these are what we call taxpayers' money.
Absolutely.
And these are people that are struggling to survive, and you have not even finalized on their minimum wage, right? And this money is wasted frivolously without being accounted for, because, you know, in a situation like this, it will be assumed that nothing has taken place. You know, in a typical corporate organization, they will need to account for it and see how they could recoup the money back over the years. But this one, it will just be assumed that nothing has happened, it's a loss, let's cancel it, let's embark another one. So this should not be done. That's why when you are doing, that's why we see that people like this, that you are giving a portfolio like this, you are an expert. And so one of the things that was on the table when Omai was coming on board is that, we know him for this landmark achievement he did in Ebonyi State, right? And he has the pedigree. He has the...
After all, he's a civil engineer,
yes,
right?
So for you to be able, it's not only on paper. You should have done, even before the project commenced, there are things that should have been done. You have crossed your T and dot your I's and see what happened under the ground. Should we embark on it? What is the cost implication? Is there any inimical effect it's going to have on the economy itself?
Which is what they are now doing now.
Which is wrong.
All right, thank you. Let's not dwell on that too much. But before I move on to other issues, I really would love your opinion on Emir Sanusi. Emir of Kano, Sanusi Lamido Sanusi. All right. And then the drama that went on today, where the governor claims that the judge who gave that court
is reporting them to the US.
That the judge is actually in US, sitting there in US and gave an order that, you know what, don't reinstall this guy. You know. But then again, Sanusi said something. He said that he's glad that an over 1,000 years tradition of the Kano people has been reinstated.
Very well.
And it was something critical he said yesterday in River State, where he was in a program. He did say something about our crude oil, that our crude oil is a blessing, but the leaders managing the crude oil makes it look like a curse. Perhaps our curses. Do you believe that?
You see,
do you agree with that?
Yeah, I agree with you. You see, when a resources is not properly managed, then it becomes a problem for you. When you have a resources that is not properly managed, it becomes a problem for you. Take for instance, there was a time the president of Ghana once says, it's not that Ghana is poor, but it's because Ghana was not properly managed. Right.
So it's not like Nigeria is poor.
We are not
because this administration said that we are
not poor, right? Okay. Yeah, you know, broke is relative, right? Broke is relative. You might have so much money in your bank account, and because you don't have access to that money at that time, you can tell your friend that I'm cash strapped. Did you get it? So, but let's come back to Emir of Kano. It's a laudable achievement, and you know, people always say that, what happens to his predecessor, his fathers, that's what actually come back to him, and the whole thing is changing over now. And he made some statements today. He said, when you are in office, do not overwork yourself, because one time you will leave the office and want to make anything, what to make will come back at you.
All right, so let's even look at the political aspect of this. You remember how he was ousted by Ganduje,
Very well.
who became an enemy of his boss Kwankwaso,
Very well.
and because he feels that Sanusi is a bit too vocal and critical of his administration at that time and some of the policies that he embarked upon. So is it fair that politicians are meddling into a traditional heritage, as it were? Because the traditional stool is our heritage, right? So is it fair that this is happening? Because you look at even the reinstatement, the present governor did say that, he's handing over the traditional affairs to the deputy governor. So as it is now, governor took out, governor brought in, governor. So that means governors now have the right to install and uninstall traditional rulers. Is that the norm? Should it be? Is that how we were?
In a real sense, it shouldn't be the norm, because when you look at in many years ago, traditional rulers are more powerful than the governor. Right, but things have changed, and I will say that
is this change for good?
Because they also sell their birthright because of money, right? Most of the time, traditional are so powerful, right? But now because of, you see them buying a lot of, and they also sell themselves cheaply because of money, right? When you look at what happened to Sanusi, you see, when Ganduje came in, he actually withdrew the power of that position. Emir of Kano is one of the powerful emir after Sultan of Sokoto. Is one of the powerful. So you now turn that old position into 5 seats. It makes no sense. You're not bringing 5 people.
You think that made a caricature of the traditional school?
Completely. So you now even withdrew the power of the Emir of Kano. So you now reduce him like a kind of third class or fourth class Oba. Right, because these are powerful Oba. They also have class. We have the Oba in the class A, right, which are Sultan of Sokoto. We have the Oni of Ife. You have Oyo State or the Oba of Oyo and the Emir. So they are classes of those Oba. So once you withdrew, you also withdrew the tradition and also the environmental power of the people in Kano. Because Kano is like the economy up of the south. Of the north,
yeah,
right?
Great,
so with that, it makes them not to be able to see it. But with him reinstating it, and he actually sent all those other emirs away and makes him the chief emir of those. It makes a lot of sense, and it also shows that there's no how. It also shows that Kano is regaining its position among the group of the emirs in the north.
All right, so let's go straight to perhaps my major conversation for the day. So we hear that Nigeria's gross domestic product, GDP, declined by 2.98% in the first quarter, that is Q1 of 2024, due to economic hardships under President Bola Ahmed Tinubu's administration. Now, the National Bureau of Statistics, NBS, disclosed this in its Q1 2024 GDP report released today. Now, the report said the nation's current growth rate is at 2.98%, higher than the 2.31% recorded in the same quarter in 2023, but lower than the 3.46% recorded in the fourth quarter of 2023. But in all of this, let's look at, the ministers, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu yesterday had mandated his ministers in view of his 1-year celebration to release their scorecard. Come and tell us what you have done for us. And quite a couple of ministers have also done that. But in all of that, what is the impact of their scorecard as they would have accessed themselves to the citizens? That's where the problem lies. Because I have a data here showing me the prices of some items. Last year, what did you grind? I saw that. I saw that. Showing me the prices of some items last year, in fact, within this period of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu's administration. So let's quickly take a look at them. Now, this is a statistics released by the National Bureau of Statistics, and they didn't make it up, So, and it's a government organization, so you cannot see that it is fake news because I didn't get them. So the National Bureau of Statistics says the average price of 5 kg of cooking gas declined from 6,591 naira in March 2024 to 6,951 951 naira. Did you get it? 6,591. You know you're a tax collector. You know mass a lot, eh? 6,591 naira in March to 6,521 naira in April 2024. So we should be happy. How much did you save there? About 60 naira there, about right? Okay, so let's go. So this was stated in the Barrow's Cooking Gas Price Watch for April 2024, released today, Friday. The report said the April price presented a 1.06% increase compared to March 2024. But the NBS said the average price of 5 kg gas increased on a year-on-year basis, which is during this administration, went to 40% from 4,642 naira 27 kobo recorded in April 2023 before this administration took over to 6,521 naira. Right? The state profile analysis showed that Bauchi recorded the highest average price, 7,000, followed by Kano at 6,988, and we go on and on and on. But let's go to other food items very quickly because we don't have all the time in the world. So now, still from the National Bureau of Statistics, they say that prices of rice, garri, tomatoes, beans, yam, and other items increased in April 2024. You know that in April 2024, Nigeria's economy, early April 2024, became the best performing, Nigeria's currency, Naira, was the best performing currency. But I think for the first 2 weeks of April. Then, before the end of April, it tumbled to the worst performing currency. I don't know what happened. But let's go further to that. The NBS said this in its selected food prices watch report for April 2024 released today. The report said that the average price of 1 kilogram of local rice increased by 155 naira. Increased by 155.93% from 546 naira 76 kobo recorded in April 2023 to 1,399 naira 34 kobo in April 2024. That is no joke. That's about 200% increment.
Very well.
Now, on a month-on-month basis, 1 kg of local rice increased by 3.47% in April, right? But let's go to other food items very quickly. The report's average of, in fact, basically, bottom line is all of these food items did increase at least by 100, 200, 300%, and even more within the past 1 year, within this administration. And then our GDP is supposedly doing good in this administration. But how will a GDP do so good without having impact in the lives of people? I'd like you to explain. You're good with the figures and facts. So please help us understand why it's really not adding up so much.
So when we talk about GDP, we need to understand what GDP is.
Yes.
And that is the gross domestic product.
Absolutely.
Which also shows that the total number of goods, value of goods and services produced in an economy in a year.
So do I look at you and say produced in an economy?
Yes, produced in an economy. You say in an economy, yeah. The goods and services produced and services offered in an economy during the year, and the volume of transactions that took place, the purchasing power of people. If you produce it and nobody is buying,
absolutely.
So the GDP is just going to be there, right? So the parameter,
and that is exactly why I am raising this issue.
So
what have we produced? So what has the purchasing power been within this past 1 year?
So the parameters is in two ways: production, service offer, and purchasing, right? Okay. Buying, right?
Yes.
So, and do not forget that Nigeria, we are a consuming economy.
Absolutely.
Right. We can buy anything. We can use our last kobo to buy anything, right? So, if you now talk about the GDP, when you look at the beginning of this administration, the GDP nosedive, right? Now it begin to climb up. So, you will now see, you will remember that also during this period, there is what we call palliative in form of cash transfer. Right. And once you release more money into the hands of people, the next thing is to do is that let's stock the house with the kind of food we've not eaten for ages. Right. So they stock the food. So at that point in time, then it becomes an artificial improvement in people purchasing power. Because for you to sustain that level of GDP, for you to be able to say that this is it, it must be sustained, it must be continuous, and it must be constant. Which, in other words, people purchasing power must be consistent over time to be able to buy XYZ thing. Right.
Yes.
Because one of the factors that will also affect people purchasing power is assuming someone that earned 100,000, right? And before now, a buy fuel for in a month he spent almost like 20,000 to fuel his car. But now, due to fuel increase, he's spending 60,000 in fueling his car. So you will now discover that the more people, you see now, the more people buy, because of the prices of goods and services that are increasing, people will have to spend more. And as they are spending more, it will show that there are more inflow coming in. But the question is that the quantum of what 1,000 naira can buy last year, a 500 naira cannot buy it this year.
So that brings me back. So how has this improved in the lives of people? Because we know that countries with very good performing GDPs, that means the economy is doing okay, right? That means the economies are good, as it were. Have people have the purchasing power of their people a bit more better than that of others. We have so many countries who could use as an example. How is it possible that GDP has increased from the later part of President Bola Muhammad Buhari's administration, between that and this administration now, but then again purchasing power is about at its lowest in Nigeria? I'd like you to explain, because I really do not know.
These are the things that we understand. We need more data to be able to. You remember also this.
But do you understand the point I'm making?
Very well.
Are they valid? First of all,
these are government information.
Okay.
So we need another superior information to be able to counteract it, because we need data.
Okay. So you think that there is a possibility that this information may be doctored?
It's assumed.
Okay.
Right. It's assumed, because now if we now have another form of data to be able to analyze it, okay, vis-a-vis what is on the table. Because when you look at what is happening in the economy in itself, a lot of multinational organizations have left the shore of Nigeria. And most of them has also downsized most of their staff.
Absolutely.
One downsized over 5,000 people. Microsoft is leaving Nigeria, right? GSK left, right? So what happened
PZ,
yes,
Procter & Gamble. So
what happened to their staffs, right? I was talking to someone this morning. In 1993, 1,000 naira. You remember in 1993, a dollar to a naira is 24 naira to $1 then. And a million in that year, 1 million naira in that year, bringing it to 2024. 1 million naira in 1993 is like 72 million naira now. Because as at that time, a naira to a dollar is 24 naira to a dollar. But now it's around over 1,000 naira to a dollar.
Please don't make us cry.
So if you have 1 million in 1993, the value of that 1 million in 1993 is equivalent to 72 million naira now. So you now see that what has brought us to this stage. And also, one of the things we should see is that Benue is a food bank of Nigeria. This is where this is a place that they produce. The food basket of Nigeria, where they produce more food. But now, most of those farmers, most of the people that should be in the farm, they're already in the IDP camps, doing nothing.
They've left their major source of income
because they can't even go to the farm. They've been kidnapped. They've been killed, and the earth. Okay, now they were trying to. Part of the bill they should be sponsoring to pass in the National Assembly should be how you ensure that there should be proper ranching in the country. These are the things that should be done.
But the headsmen and those in charge have often gone against that and said we can't. That these people are nomadic in nature, and it's only natural that.
Are they government? Are we the only country that have cows, that have ranches? Go to the developed world.
Now, speaking about ranching, is it also proper for the government to request that people release their lands, ancestral lands, for the ranching, for ranching, for instance? Because a lot of people are of the opinion that, wait, if I am a spare part seller, for instance, or I go rent a shop to sell my spare parts. So if someone is into the business of cattle rearing, shouldn't the person buy land or rent a piece of land to take care of their business? Is it a private business or a government business? What is its economical value to the country? Why should people make to do away with their ancestral land because we have to accommodate this business that is a private business?
No, you shouldn't give them for free, right?
Oh, it shouldn't be for free,
right?
But government has oftentimes asked people to give our lands for free.
Why would
that?
Okay, Lekki was not Lekki before. You know what was in Lekki before? Lekki was formerly called Morocco, right? Do you still remember?
Yes.
And they moved all those people to around Badagry and they paid them off. Right. So if the government said, these are my land and we want this place for ranches, you need to pay them. It's a value. It's not free. They acquire the land. So even a same government will not tell me to give my land for free, because what I'm giving it, if you have to use the land, you need to compensate me for it. Right. It's a risk I'm trying to embark, and you don't get a risk without a reward. Right. And when you look at in a developed country where they have ranches, a proper ranch, you see, you even like doing those business because it's more strong.
Makes it appealing.
Really appealing, because there you see them, the way they get the milk, the raw milk. You see eggs. You see you see their calf and every other. There's a city in the US. What they produce in that community, they heat. What they heat in that community, they produce it there. So they structure that in a way that this is a community we want to be self-existent, self-reliant and self-dependent. So we can start it in our country. So all we need is the willpower from the part of our leader.
Okay.
To ensure that things are done properly, like it's in the developed country. We shouldn't even go far. Look at South Africa here. Their population is far less than Nigerian population. And if we say, this is South Africa, we can take an instance of what happening in China. China has a proper ranching thing. You even like the way they move around with it. And there was a thing that was on social media in NYSC camp. If you see it today, you see cow, the way it's chasing.
How about the FCT? so like, that's right. So I wish we could keep understanding why people are the way they are right now. But I really would love you to, if you can, on a ratio of 10, how would you rate President Bola Ahmed Tinubu's 1 year in office?
1 year in office in a ratio of 1 to 10. I will give him, because on his lies the heads that wear the crown. I will give him a 3 over 10.
3.
Yeah.
Are you a wicked lecturer? Because they're coming to lecturers issue very soon. Why 3?
Yeah, because you look at, there's what we call in a typical organization key performance indicators.
KPI.
Right? So what have you done? Right, in the first years of it. And there's what we also we advise a staff, when you get engaged, there's what we do, quick win. Quickly do something so that they know that this person is performing. We can entrust this business into his hand. You quickly look at the loopholes in the place, quickly solve the problem, and you go out, you forge ahead. So it makes the organization have some level of trust in you, because you are just coming in. They have this doubt if you can perform or not. But with your common experience, you can look at quick win within 1 week, 2 weeks, 1 month, 2 months. Let me quickly achieve this. Then they give you a thumb up. At that time, you'll be settling in little by little. So when he comes into office, I have not seen a quick win. You remember also the subsidy removal is just tying a day boy baby, and the mother just said that I stopped breastfeeding you.
Before even I introduce the breast milk. All right, let's rush to another issue very quickly before we, because Nigerians will still hold me to ransom if I don't open phone lines for them. They like to be part of the show. So in ABIA State, the People's Democratic Party has tendered an open apology to Abians, the people of Abia, for not meeting up with their expectations over the years. You recall that Abia State has ruled that state for 23 years. 24, yeah. So, PDP rather, I beg your pardon. Thank you. The party said this contributed to its defeat in the last gubernatorial election in the state. Addressing journalists at the PDP Secretariat yesterday, Thursday, in Umuahia, shortly after the party stakeholders meeting, the vice chairman of the party, acting publicity secretary Abraham Ama, said the party had learnt from the enormous mistakes made, stating its readiness to rewrite their wrongs. He said the party was committed to doing things differently this time, stressing that the lessons learned from the mistakes would be used to chart a new course, while expressing happiness that the party across the 17 local government areas of the state was still intact. He, however, expressed optimism that the Abia State would bounce back again, especially with the lineup of political heavyweights that he mentioned. But let me quickly play you a quick video. Reaction of Abia people in Abia State, in Aba precisely, over a street light installed by the governor of a street light. You see the jubilation. Let me quickly play it there so that it's not my ear only that will hear that kind of thing. Take a listen.
They are very happy. Everybody are happy. Because they saw street light in the road. It was fixed today. And the thing was lighted up today. Everybody is very happy. Can you see it? Everybody. They are very happy. Yes.
Did you hear that? That jubilation, that Oti will continue to rule them, that he would continue to be their governor. So, this just shows how little Nigerians suspect from their leaders. This is not so much a street lights. It's being celebrated this way. It could be surprising. Now, let's look at what the governors ought to have been doing. I mean, the level of lack of governance the people would have suffered. And this cuts across all states.
So, for me, when you look at it, it's also it talks about our value system. A value system. You say when we talk about the fiscal policy and the social contracts, these are normal. You see,
I have to smile over the social contracts, because is there any social contracts here?
You see, when an abnormal situation become normal, it's even abnormal. Like someone said, a guy got to US one day. Oh no, let me don't mention USA, one of these developed country, and there's a light, and he was thinking. He quickly got there. Bring out a rechargeable lamp, and so that in case when they take away light, it's not become hot. When they now bring light, you not shout that, oh, hot NEPA. You see, and you are even say, oh, NEPA, thank you for bringing light. These are hot things. These are things that you should naturally enjoy as a citizen. This is part of the social contract. As a citizen that voted someone into power, you should provide these amenities. These are natural amenities to be provided. Look at what Oti is doing. Oti is one of the governors that is representing Labour Party very well, right? He's
the only governor of Labour Party.
He's doing well. Let me talk about the elected people, right? That is representing the party very well. We have them in the National Assembly, right?
Absolutely.
Right. So you could see that for the light guy implemented, he has received overwhelming support and also a thumb up from the people, right? And which is good. And the guy is actually doing well. And PDP coming now and saying that, oh, we apologize. I will give them a thumb up for that, because I see that as a leader, once you know what you have done is right and you apologize, it's not a sign of weakness, it's a sign of strength. Right? Some will say that, why should I apologize? Right? The question now is that, are they apologizing are they sincere with the apology, or they are just using it to tell them that, oh, just give us another chance and we are going to make you, because they say charity begins at home. Even the party as we speak, they are not fully settled at the top. Someone is saying that, oh, you still have a party member, Wike, that is a part of APC and a part of PDP, and you don't have the courage to push him out.
Like you have a half fish, half human, like
even
a mermaid.
I won't even want to call it like a hermaphrodite.
Okay, I'm sorry.
So half human and half a fish. Do you get it? So you want to you want to be represented at APC, and PDP said that even in their last meeting, you still see the presidential candidate with Atiku Abubakar and Wike, they're still sitting, and they're like sitting there as if they're keeping malice. So if this guy is still there, why not allow him to go?
So,
right?
You mentioned social contracts the other time, and I am really very worried about the way Nigerians, the level at which Nigerians have been impoverished, or the level at which our mentality has been dampened. I don't know better words to explain this with. Now, these are Nigerians celebrating their basic, one of the most commonest infrastructure, street lights. So that tells you that Nigerians don't even demand so much from their leaders. What they just want is their fundamental human rights given to them by the leaders. Somebody gives you light, that's your fundamental
basic
human rights,
amenities.
and that's why you are paying taxes.
Basic
Somebody
amenities.
does road for you, that's your right.
Very
so you
well.
don't tell me because he did road, hello, it's my right.
Very
and
well.
someone built schools, that's my right. So has it gotten that bad in governance in Nigeria that Nigerians begin to jubilate and dance over things as flimsy as street light?
It's just like what I said. You see,
did we have it this bad?
You see, when the abnormal becomes normal, it just is that this is the right thing to do, right? You see, when someone has suffered so much from the ends of one of a wicked leader, and someone just give you a little liberation, you see that person as a mini god. Right, so these are things, you see, that's why we see our leaders are not accountable. Like what happened to the coastal road we talk about. If the leaders are actually accountable, this will be like a loss to this administration, a whooping sum of almost $1 trillion naira. Right, if it's in a book of an organization, what business are they going to do to recoup that money? Because it's a bad business. We call it a white elephant business. It's a bad business.
But people call this a white elephant project. But the administration didn't listen.
Because
they criticized everyone who said so.
Because the money is not coming from their pocket.
Dr. Ganiyu, so do we see any light at the end of the tunnel?
The thing is just like we have some that, okay, they have a good intention. Right, and if you give them the room to do it, like the one in ABIA State, the guy is actually doing well. We are hopeful that it does not change overnight.
Okay.
So that it won't be that, let me do this for the first time, you give me the next time to come into the office the second time, then I show you my true color.
You get that point, eh? For those who don't get it, they forget about it. All right, so let's go straight to Ebonyi State, where a final year student of the Ebonyi State University, Abakaliki EPSU, identified as Favor Uguka, has allegedly committed suicide. Now, it was learned that Miss Uguka committed suicide in her hostel at the Ishieke campus of the university yesterday, Thursday. It was gathered that the deceased final year student of the Department of English passed all her courses, but repeatedly failed a particular course whose lecturer had vowed she would never pass. In a melancholic video seen online by everyone, a woman said to be the deceased mother blamed the lecturer for making her daughter commit suicide. According to the woman, who was seen lamenting in the video, Dr. Enyi said he is the best, that nobody, in fact, let me play that video very quickly because it's good that you always hear from the horse's mouth and then we come back to the conversation. It's always fair that we hear from all sides, both sides. Take a listen. And she brought in the corpse of her daughter to the school.
Very. It's.
She brought her body for them to bury.
Nobody can do like him. Nobody is like him. He's the best. Where is it?
This is a young girl complaining.
I don't understand. Because I'm not from my
before she died.
I know the individual. I know family anybody for here.
Because what's the meaning of this?
That's the pain of a mother.
No, this is the girl complaining that because she's not from Abakaliki.
You fail me. For
Okay.
what? After attending classes, person to fail me. How will one person be the only person to fail me? Out of how many lecturers that doesn't even know my face? For me, I want it today. How will you be the only one? I don't have reference to write on anyone, no. Just only second semester I have it to write. Only second semester. Try. I'm going to leave the certificate for now. I'll try.
And it's so sad.
Very sad.
So,
very sad.
Well, the lecturer has now responded to the conversation. He said, Professor Amechi Enyi is his name, of the Benue State University. He denied having a hand in the death of the girl, that it's not his fault. He's a lecturer in the Department of English Studies. He claimed he was threatened by the deceased relatives severally before the incident. According to him, he said the question paper for the last examination of the course, English Statistics, revealed the late student merely copied down 3 questions. He stated this while answering questions from journalists today, Friday, in Abakaliki, saying it was incorrect to adduce that her death was related to academic activities. But then again, the girl in that video mentioned that she's been writing that course since second semester year 1, as it were, and she's passed other courses, and she's had to come back. That is the course that gave her extra year. She's had to come back to also write the same course, but she keeps failing that particular course. So let's look at the way tertiary institutions are, put together. Shouldn't there, even though they're compulsory courses, but if someone perhaps, and you know that this particular course is what is keeping you, isn't it there a way that perhaps you just downgrade the CGPA instead of letting that one course repeatedly keep the person in school? Because a lot of people had to make confessions of their issues, incidents like this in school, where a particular lecturer, because he doesn't like your face, will tell you, and knowing that that course is a compulsory course, tell you, come and pass, let me see you now, come and graduate from this school. And they make you somehow, for excuses of things that they would have just let go for you, they would make you to ensure that you keep coming back to write the course. So do we say that the lecturer was a bit too strict, or he actually did the right thing by ensuring that she keeps coming back to rewrite the course?
You see, this is a beautiful question, but this case should be properly investigated. As in, you do a forensic investigation and a kind of journalistic investigation, and also a one-on-one investigation with people around there, because it's also hard from year 1. She can't be so dull
for one course alone.
For her 5 years in school, she can't be so.
She did 4 years. She had an extra year because of this, and the guy failed her again.
You're telling me 4 years? There are strikes in between.
But I'm just saying, the normal years she would have spent in school but she's been having extra years.
So there are strikes in between. So these are many years. So
and then you keep paying school fees. That's another point. Apologies, I didn't mention that.
And imagine that our parents are not even well to do. Maybe she's taking care of her needs herself, right? So that lecturer, because it's not normal. There's no how someone is done. You see, and that's what we are in my line of work. We call it. That's what we call comparable. We look at comparable. Why is it only your course?
Exactly. That's what she said. She said,
why not
even
other
course? I don't know her face.
Right? Why not other course? Why just your course?
Absolutely.
Are you the only professor? Mm-hmm. So if it is germane to her, right, that course, she would have failed another course. She would have failed another course. So there will be so much thing behind the scene that need to be unraveled. And such a person should be used as a deterrent to be able to avert this kind of issue in future.
But the reason I mention this is, if you look at the way our educational system is in Nigeria, it's as if there is this fear that lecturers in fact, there is this reverence we give to our teachers generally, from primary, secondary, all across. I'm not talking about this new generation that they attend private school. When you go to government school, there's a way you fear I'm not saying respect, fear your lecturer.
I understand.
Like you fear your lecturer. In fact, the presence of that lecturer when you're writing an exam can make you forget the answer you want to give. That kind of thing. So do we say that lecturers make themselves too much gods and demigods, so much so that they do less of their work, or their work is watered down, because their duty is to impact knowledge on the students? But when people have feared you so much. Allow me to be using the term fear, by the way, or the word fear. When they, get so scared of you that they barely understand what you teach them, should that even be a good thing?
So the question you should also ask yourself, even the lecturer, do they understand what they are doing? Right? So, okay, let me give you an instance. There was a time I went for my second degree, right? And we were writing exam, and a lecturer from another university came over, and you see that lecturer bringing out live question, live answer, copying word for word in the exam hall. Then ask me, what will that lecturer teach a student or our student? And in this case also, there's this, I will bring about the feminine side. The person you have been holding since year one, it's not even a guy, it's a female. Right? So if there have not been something hidden, or there are not demand from the lecturer or advancement from the lecturer towards her, it shouldn't be consistent. And they should also check also in the lecturer record. Have there any other people that have consistently failed since 100 level to this day? So if it's only our case, then there are question marks.
Okay, so I'm going back to that question about our, system in Nigeria again. In Nigeria, it's as if we take pride in, lecturers take pride in, they fail now. Plenty of students fail my course. They don't feel near me. I'm an intelligent lecturer that gives them difficult questions, and they can't pass my questions.
But things are changing now.
Students can't pass my questions.
Things are changing because if you have mass failure as a lecturer, it shows that you have not imparted knowledge.
I was going to say that.
It shows you have not imparted knowledge.
Whereas abroad, it is not the same case. As a matter of fact, the more students fail your course abroad, the more something is wrong with your head.
It's also in Nigeria too. It's also in Nigeria as a lecturer.
And in a public university,
it happens
that's
also.
A problem.
They've been doing self-assessment. It's just like the way we have environmental impact assessment, we also have lecturer assessment, right? If it's also unheard of, I taught 100 students, 80 failed. As a lecturer, it's a failure on your part. It's a failure on your part because you can't tell me that the 80 people, they are so dull that they will fail your course.
All the 80 of them.
All the 80 of them. And they will fail your course, and you are taking pleasure. You are taking a stupid pleasure that they failed your course. So those are the things. I think a lot of questions, and you look at our education, it's not about our educational system. It's about the people. Let me even.
But there is a system that should keep them in check that doesn't.
The question is that we also have a regulators that regulate the environment, right? That regulate the school, the university,
the tertiary institution, the agency.
Yeah. So how often do they check them? How often do they? The only lecturers they discipline are the ones that are caught red-handed, that they are giving, and these students are also getting wise. They go with the body camp. So when there are discussion, they are already put it there, or somebody is snapping them from behind and throw it on social media so the lecturer could not escape it, right? That's how. But anyone that was not caught, even in private school, look at the one that was bullying in Abuja. In private school, some of those students were coming out that this is the thing that have been going on underneath. That they bully. So it's only what we hear that we now begin to talk about. But if we have a proper schooling system and we have people regulate, and also those school owners, they were able to take decisive actions on each of these lecturers, and they also have, there should be what we call feedback mechanism, that you don't need to put your name as a student. Let us have a box, so we'll know if you're actually winch hunting the lecturer or you want the best for the school. So if we have feedback mechanism and you have them an open door policy, and it comes to you, put in there, and you open it, just like what the president is doing, like a scorecard for his people. The people that are doing, their names were not there, but they could say that, why out of 10 lecturer, why is only you that all these students says they don't want to see your face? You can't say because you are too harsh, or because you say no. All the students cannot vote against you if you're actually doing what you should do. So these are the things that should also be implemented in a tertiary institution, not only in a tertiary institution, even in our secondary schools and primary school, so that the lecturer, and this also are part of value system, because of the the economy system we have, because of no job syndrome, people now find themselves into the education sector to get to be able to get a thing to keep body, soul, and spirit together, for them to be able to maintain, to be able to make their purchasing power improved. But the question is that, do they actually have ability or strength in those areas? Right. And when you look at the early 80s, lecturing things are not like this. In the early 80s, these are one of the jobs that people like doing. And you see our lecturers are very sound. At the early 80s, when you see people, I can remember in the early 80s, if you got a job at, let's assume NNPC, and someone is a lecturer, you got a job in an oil producing in NNPC, you will feel so bad, because where you are eyeing to work is to be a lecturer. Because every six months they change their wardrobe. They pay them very well. They have the freelance to travel abroad, and the government pay, and that at that point in time, you see the students that were being produced then, they are strong and sound students, they are top notch. There was a time as even you say this is part of the education system, both with the lecturer and the student in itself, but they need all these things to be harmonized so that the student feel free going to school. They are not, you see, just like what you say, you are going to meet a lecturer, it's as if you are going to meet a demigod. You can't even go into his office, because once you enter his office without knocking, or you did not go and greet him early in the morning, then you might likely not pass his course. So all these things needs to be looked into decisively and very well before taking any decisions on that area.
All right, thank you so much, Dr. Ganayo. Let's open the phone lines now so the Nigerians can jump in. 0700 903 903 903. That's the number to call. 0700 903 903 903. The WhatsApp line is 0817 175 6338. 0817 175 6338. That's the WhatsApp line. 0817 175 6338. Let me hope that the WhatsApp can be clear now. Hello, good evening.
Good evening. This is Jonathan from London.
Jonathan, you're welcome. Go ahead.
Greet our guest there. Good evening, sir.
Good evening.
Yes, let me quickly comment on our coastal highway. So the most painful aspect of that conversation, that all this money they are spending lavishly there, they are borrowed money. They are borrowed money. All those compensations they are paid. All those business.
Oh dear. Oh dear. All right. Apologies. Please do what to call back if you can. All right. Hello. Good evening. Hello, good evening.
Good evening. How are you? Yeah, good evening. How are you doing today?
I'm fine, thank you. Welcome. Go ahead. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
My name is Mr. Tinubu. I'm calling you from Jibo, precisely.
You're welcome. Go ahead.
Your guests have spoken well. Please, my dear, see the scorecard of this government 1 year in office is 0 over 0 plus 0 equals to 0 and the 0. Because a good Messiah than Tinubu 1 year. The 1 year of Tinubu can't have everything of 8 years of Buhari. Going to the state, precisely from the state, no PDP. We smell that place. Head of services, I thank God it was just a stone throw from my village. He said, food, they want him in my village because they have fed. His company, even that Ururu Kano that lead to Aba, it's a mess. So PDP has nothing to offer in Abia State, and they have gone and got their right. But going to the lecturer, if it's only the lecturer that they get that committed suicide fail the exam every time, they need 2 eyes to look towards the needle, if the needle has a hole or not, before we do. But most of the times, as your guest told us, they make themselves to be little gods. But it is supposed to be so. So growing up when I was coming up from 80s, because I know that 80s I have been in the school, we didn't see it like this. We let those who are at the top. But presently, they have made the system, they jeopardize the system. That's why even though in the institution, the lecturers now, when most of them have, they go after the ladies there and they do a lot of things. They are like bones, egg roll before, but today they are puff. So Right on. It is well. Good night.
Thank you so much. Good night to you too. All right. Phone lines are still open. 0700-903-903-903. Apologies for that call drop from WhatsApp. I do hope that it will get better now. But the direct line to call still remains 0700 903 903 903. 0700 903 903 903. Hello, good evening. Hello. Hello.
Hello.
Help me turn off totally the volume of your radio set, please.
Good evening, my dear.
Well,
sorry.
It's okay.
Yes, Precious.
Sir?
Yes, you see when we are talking, just from Bariga.
Oh,
when we are talking, it looks as if we are just attacking this government. Every time we attack the government because of their propaganda. Remember this coastal line. It's something. Before you embark on a project of coastal line, building road on the coastal, you have to obtain environmental impact assessment. If you don't have it, there is no way. Otherwise, when you start the road, instead of your road to first to Calabar, it will first to Kaduna.
But the government said they had it now. That's not an issue. The government mentioned that they have it
now. Are you hearing the story?
Yes,
the story is coming out now. Plain. You see the problems now encountered, the tables and the what have you. So, APC is stop taking directions. They should take directions so that Nigeria will be better for all. Thank you, my sister.
Thank you too, my brother. Hello, good evening.
Hello, Jonathan Kalimba.
Jonathan, please make it quick. Welcome. Go ahead.
Okay. Regarding this coastal highway, what I want to say is that people are shouting EIA. The minister are thinking that maybe it's a kind of persecution. They don't want the project to go on. Look at the wastage they have put.
Oh dear. Apologies. I sincere apologies. Hello, good evening. Hello,
Patience.
Yes, Precious. Yes, please go ahead. What's your name, sir?
Dayo from Fagba.
Dayo, you're welcome. Go straight on.
APC spokesman, I greet you.
I know Bio. I know greet you too. The guest can hear you. Go ahead.
Like Obe used to say, if the foundation of the process that brought you into power is not credible, then you can't be credible. So, like we have been saying right from the beginning, the way these governments came into power.
Okay. It's not me, I did not touch it. Before you think it's because you want to say something, that's why I cut it off. No, I didn't. I don't know what it is with these network issues. I hope we get it right. Hello, good evening.
Good evening, Precious.
Good evening, welcome.
Yes, my name is Ferdinand.
You're welcome, Ferdinand. Go ahead.
For the good work you have been doing.
Thank you. Go ahead.
You ask your guest that in Tinubu's 1 year in office, if you want to rest, how many percent?
Yes, so and he said 3. 3 over 10 means it's 30 over 100.
I just want
That's 30%.
I want to rest in 95%, because why I want to rest in 95% is that in 2012, when protested about against Jonathan, a bag of rice at that time was 8,000 naira. But today, Tinubu is the president. A pint of rice is 8,000 naira. That is 100% for him. And secondly, a bag of rice, a bag of garri that time is about 5,000 naira. Then today, a pint of garri is 4,000 naira. That is another 100%. That in 2012, we can a tuber of yam. You can get yam of 500 naira. The biggest one, 500 naira. Today, the smallest yam today is 4,000 naira. That is 100%. And the one I gave you 95 because Yoruba have their own market. I am pleading. Let us be buying for Yoruba market, please, because their things are very, very cheap, and the Igbo and the other tribes, their own is very costly. So if you Precious can ask him to allow us to be buying from him.
All right, I appreciate you. I would have to cut you out there. Apologies. You shouldn't be turning this conversation to tribal lines, but we understand what you're saying. I appreciate you. Hello, good evening.
Hello, Precious. Did you cut my call?
Now you go straight on before the line will cut it again because it's not me.
So, like Obi said, if the process that brought into power is not credible, it can't be credible. So, what has played out so far in the country now, you can see it when judiciary will tell you that certificate doesn't matter. See what you are saying now. They are trying to give an interview for the president. He said no.
You see my hands up, Abi? I had to raise my hands up. So the judiciary never ever said certificates don't matter, really. So it's good that you quote the judiciary as they say. As much as I have to let you have your say, but you also have to say the right thing. So you don't use a medium, our media, our station to misinform people, our platform to misinform people. All right. Hello, good evening to you.
Hello, good evening, Precious.
Sir, you're welcome.
Precious, how are you today?
I'm fine, thank you. Mr. Bigger, right?
My name is Mr. Bigger.
You're welcome, sir. Who are you? It's not me. Hello, good evening. Hello? Hello? All right, okay. Unfortunately, we keep having this call. Yes, sir. Just go straight on, sir.
Please, I want to first of all congratulate Emir Sanusi and the Kano people for his reinstatement. Yeah, it's a very wonderful thing. The Kwankwan star in Kano, the man is very popular in Kano. Then secondly, I want to talk about the Calabar Lagos coastal line. Recently, we are building a factory somewhere in Shagamu. This EIA, Environmental Impact Assessment, they came in from Abuja and the whole communities were called. It was a big deal. My query and my worry is, why should government compel investors to do what the law says, then themselves, the government will not want to do it? Why is it so? Why are things not going to...
Oh dear, unfortunately. Sorry about that. Okay, so let me run through some messages because I don't understand why we have this constant drops, so forgive me. But let's quickly run through some WhatsApp messages. All right. I have this here that says, good evening, Precious. I want to know what illegal route is. We are lawless people and we don't respect rule of law. We do. The Lagos-Calabar coastal route is a scam and only vindictive. Why didn't they start the project in segments simultaneously? CY sent in that message. And then, Precious, are we not a fool in this country? I mean, we, the citizens. Why are these people wasting our resources and we all are silent? These politicians have taken us for a ride. All their actions so far were deliberate. They purposely did what they did, knowing fully well that Nigerian citizens are under siege. In other words, we are powerless. This administration is a big time. Okay, Precious, I'm angry. I need spiritual power. AY from Mushi, AY and me, or 4 people will give you spiritual power. Where you won't see her from. I don't have the energy to give that to you. Good evening, Precious. Nigerians are not interested in all these statistics. We need foods on our tables. Things are getting worse every day. The government of Tinubu has failed us. Pastor Peter sent in that message. But let me quickly travel to YouTube where there are quite, a couple of reactions. Nokwam Emma says, no. Okay, no. Okay. And he says, Alex Kudiri Malgui says, evening, Precious. I'm happy to see you. More grace to your elbow. Please, how can I get Ejiru's hard copy book? Thanks. So you know what? She said you should follow her on Facebook at Lady E Ejiro Umokoro on Facebook. So please go follow her on Facebook. LSD says, so businesses on that corridor are not important, but subsea cables are important. Okay, why build this in the first place, or this road in the first place? Say now, wow. He said, yeah, something. Blessing says, hello, Precious. LCD say it remains 40 billion. And then, okay, Charles Duru says, in a rush to push it through the house, just land grabbing. Do you think this is some sort of land grabbing? Well, let's go back to Femi Bash's comment. He says, okay, I see that, but I'm not going to read that. And then Blessing says, but we know that it was not about the road. Why they destroyed Landmark Beach? It's for private interest of Eco-Atlantic expansion. That's why they destroyed Landmark. Then Kenneth says, as far as the coastal highway goes, what exactly does Nigeria federal government mean by illegal houses? Is the government saying that these houses were built without necessary state, local government permits? Blessing says, Landmark is owned by an Igbo man. If it was another part of Nigeria, it would not be touched. You can see the way they did with speed. They demolished it with speed after 2 weeks. Okay. And then he says, it's a shame our judiciary is, well, he said a lot. Lawson Namadi says, Precious, I disagree with your info on the Kano Emirates. It's over 1,000 emanated, there is over 1,000 years. Emanating, he said the Emirate came in existence in Kano after Uthman Dan Fodio Jihad in the 18th century. So this particular 1,000 years, I didn't quote myself. I quoted Emir Sanusi. He said it himself. If you listen to him in his acceptance speech, that's what he said. So perhaps you go and tell him that, that. All right. Let's see if we can go back to the phone lines, but a few more messages. But I was going to come to you, Dr. Ganiyu. Do you agree that there's some sort of political sentiment attached to these demolitions or the entire Lagos-Calabar coastal highway issue with the speed of demolition of properties in some areas and then the reversal?
Definitely, we will always see sentiments around that. And you see, whenever you're in a political office, there will always be political sentiment. That's why you're a politician. So
you're not even
right.
You're not disapproving that.
That's why you're a politician, right? Wow. So, and when you get to a level and you say that, oh, okay, look at what even happened in the National Assembly, or that or Abakari, right? And the city Adi Sirika. They've started the investigation. So when they get to a point and they say, guys, let's go back, we are withdrawing. So why couldn't they forge ahead? These are political, and we have Nnamdi Kanu there. We also have another person there. Why didn't they do such a thing like that? So those are things. There's no how you see being in politics that you not be political in one of the things you do. The only thing is just like you should also see that you should make it things to be seen that, oh, you are not biased in your job. Those people that their houses have been demolished, remember, even there are some people that said we are taking you to court. This is not part of what you should get. We own this place. Don't dare come here. And our president is from Lagos. He knows them. They know each other. This is thing done in Lagos. So you now come to his base and you want to scatter ground. You are going to hear it. So the question is that those people, they've demolished their houses, they'll pay them off, right? And they might not even, and the value they are going to pay them cannot reproduce that house. Talking about the cost of things now.
Thank you. So in one word, you just agree that there's some political sentiment in the demolition.
It might not be 100%,
and the approach to the entire.
Because for you to do such a thing and say you did not do EIA, environmental impact assessment, I would say that is no. It would have been done.
They say they did. But how come they didn't know about this route when they did? Well, there are so many questions that we can't answer.
A lot of questions.
Hello, good evening to you. You're welcome. Apologies. These lines keep dropping. I don't understand what's happening. Hello, good evening. All right. Well, this message here says, good evening, Precious. The federal government should stop the construction of the Lagos-Calabar Coastal Highway because it doesn't have impact on Nigerians, and let the federal government use part of the money to fix the bad roads across Nigeria or use it to build a fourth mainland bridge, Leo from Lagos Sentinel. He said, PDP tendering apology to ABIAs is not enough to forgive the past governors under the party of the PDP. The last governor's election. Well, let's see if we can take this call. I'll come back to the message. Hello, good evening.
Yeah, hello, good evening, Precious.
You're welcome. What's your name, sir?
Yeah, my name is Stanley, calling from Manchester.
You're welcome. Go ahead, straight on. Just hit it.
What I want to say about the...
Oh dear, unfortunately, the network. Hello, good evening. Hello, good evening. Hello.
Hello, good evening.
Yes, you're welcome.
Yeah, please, my name is Ben. I'm calling from Afluko.
You're welcome. Go ahead.
Please, Precious, I want to commend you for the good job you are doing.
Thank you, sir.
Please, I want to speak on Abia State.
Go ahead, please.
For the PDP to have admitted that they have wasted the resources of that state for good 24 years, it is a shame. The last governor, the PDP last governor, who served that state, is from Omobiakwa, being a local government. He came from a very humble family. The mother is a nurse and the father is a teacher. He got that opportunity to serve the state. He forgot when he was hustling at Haswani here in Lagos. He enriched himself together with his brother, Papa. Now, Oti has submitted a report, forensic report. I will advise Oti to also send people to go and look at those contracts that he said that he awarded. I saw in those reports a place called Ituba that he awarded a contract of almost 1.5 billion naira from Ituba to Osa, and that road was not even graded. Was not even graded, not to talk of anybody doing any work there. And that 1.5 billion naira has been given out. Not that it was given to a contractor that even bid it late. These are the kind of governors we have in Nigeria. I will advise you to go deep into these contracts. Most of these jobs we are not done. I know that of Osa, Ituba, and the rest. I know that very, very, very well. The road was not even graded, and 1.5 billion naira has been given out. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. I appreciate you. Thank you. All right. Okay, so going back to that message, he says, let's see if we can take this call. Hello, good evening.
Hello.
Yes, good evening.
Precious, good evening.
Go hi, good evening. Jova, right? Welcome.
Yes. Good evening. Okay, let me start from good evening to your guests.
Good evening.
To be honest, your guests sound...
All right, apologies. Hello, good evening. Hello, good evening.
Hello, good evening.
Good evening, welcome.
Yeah, Pepe.
Ma?
Yeah, good evening, please.
Thank you. Good evening. Who is this?
My name is Neka. I'm calling from Moshodi.
You're welcome, Neka. Go ahead. So, Neka, just wanted me to answer you, Mabi. That's why you called me.
Okay. My own is from the Ebonyi State University girl that committed suicide. Let her transcript be brought out and let another lecturer mark that transcript. You see that lady, she passed that course.
So you know the thing. Okay. Yeah. Let me let you finish your thoughts. Go ahead, please.
Yeah, that's the list I want to ship in today.
Okay, go ahead. So, Dr. Ganiyu, you do know that so some people were of the thought that, why didn't she call for the remark of her papers, report to the Senate, But my question is, whenever they born you for public university, may you go challenge lecturer. It's like the entire lecturers gang up against you. I tell you this, something happened in my 100 year, my year one, as it were. So we wrote a particular course. I think that was GS 100, right?
Okay, GS 101.
GS 101. And there were a couple of us that were like there were top intelligence people in the class. In my class, I studied theater arts, that failed GS 101. Guess what? Majority of us made 2-1. Majority of those group of people had 2-1. They were very intelligent people, And as it were, that lecturer will tell you that you have to be an angel to make an A in his course. So what you should get is a B. So what happened was, because there was his boy, these student teachers that they carry along, that started collecting sorting. So the information leaked to him. So every student who did excellently well in that time, he failed all of them, thinking that they were those who were part of the sorting. And he affected unintentionally most of the very brilliant people in that set. A couple of us said, wanted to protest, and most of us, it was like the only F we ever had in our lives in school. Then some of us said, we're going to protest. Some other people now, some lecturers advised some of us, we'll just sit it again and write it. You would also pass it. One person did. That person's matter. that person's matter. The way they looked at that person, that person's matter. It was like you have the mind to call for remark of your paper. So you understand? So except someone who hasn't attended a Nigerian university. Government,
I agree with you.
That would, so the girl may not have had the guts, as it were, to call for remark of her papers because she would rather be even indicted. But I'm sorry to say. So for those who are agitating, I should have done that. Or do you think otherwise?
Yes, I want to. You say it's just because of the peculiarity of our environment, right? There's nothing wrong. Even when you do a professional exam and you're not comfortable with it, right? The only thing that makes people have a second thought in calling for their paper is that they are not even sure, right? What if I call for the paper and in the long run it's wrong? So it shows that. So most of the thing, and also the bias that every organization, including university, is like a mini court.
But why is it like that?
So
elsewhere, other parts of the world, is it like that? That I feel like I shouldn't have failed this course, and let me call for a remark. Shouldn't be a problem
because
really.
They have a system that works. Okay, look at what happened also in the developed world, right? In the developed country, the guy that killed Floyd, right? The reason why the man was caught is because all the policemen over there, they always wear body camp, right? That records both conversation.
Yes.
Right. And this here, our policeman doesn't wear it. It's only when you look at what happened on the expressway, a policeman's dragging, steering.
Oh, goodness me. I saw that. My heart, I would have...
Your heart that's another statement. It almost jumped out of my mouth. So you see a lady and say, okay, 2 million, 3 million, we are ready, we will crash. So you can imagine, and the man was just frowning his face as if he's the brother to the devil. Do you understand? Or his own life is a stone that is not going to affect him. So we could see a situation like that. But if we have a system that can also correct a lot of, that's why you see some developed place where they're writing exams, there are cameras, right? And that's why they even stopped that said, don't do online, let us do it online. So once we mark it, there's no how. Nobody can manipulate things. But the right things to do in a sane environment, to call for the paper, and if justice wants to be served a la carte, right, and they mark the paper very well, they should also use that lecturer as a deterrent. They should even go ahead to castrate the man. Because what if the lady is the only child in that family that went to school, right? That will also discourage others from going to school, and which will also affect the academic growth in that kind of environment. So these things should be actually investigated very well. If our police wants to do the right thing and do a thorough investigation and ensure that the man is used as not only him, the compliers, those people that are accomplices, including lecturers that are aware of it and could not allow him to do the right thing, they should also be disciplined.
All right. Thank you so much. I appreciate you. Hello. Good evening. Hello. Hello.
Good evening.
Yes. Good evening. Welcome. Go ahead.
My contribution, my own, is on food. Some food, nothing else but food.
Food that been that one like they pinch you pass.
Hello.
Now you say na food matter they pinch your body pass, abi?
An hungry man.
He's an angry man.
Angry man. I don't know how this government can let us have food to eat. ABIA, can I have 2 straws? ABIA, I manage. So they should please, for God's sake, bring out the prices of food in the market. And how will the first lady be sharing food that will go around to all the masses? And the use of money to those they say they are going to, they are sharing food, giving food and money. Do they have the data of 2 million people of the country? How many percentage will benefit from this? According to an audit, a foundation built on propaganda or deceit, it won't last long. The regime was built on propaganda, deceit, and corrupt.
All right, I appreciate you, sir. I appreciate you, sir. I won't let you make unverified claims on air, please.
Put us right. Thank you,
I appreciate you. Thank you. But please kindly speak to facts when you call us. You know why. You're public and terrestrial radio, please. Hello, good evening.
Hello, Precious.
Joval, you want to hit his streets, right? Because I don't understand what this network is saying. Go ahead. Okay.
In addition to everything that you people have said.
Okay. I'm tired of that. All right. So good evening, Precious. At what point will Nigerians understand that Tinubu has become increasingly... Okay, so there are three things that buttress your point as to why you said what you said. His major policy that was meant to be his bravest economic policy by removing fuel subsidy has turned out to be misguided fallacy. So I'm coming. I'll take you on that. And he says too, Tinubu floating of the exchange naira, the naira has turned out to be a CBN juvenile war against bureau de change dealers who source their hard currency independently. And he says 3, the Lagos-Calabar coastal highway, which was supposed to be the mother of all infrastructure development in Nigeria, has become a joke. That basic EIA was an afterthought. And then he said, at what point will honest Nigerians realize that Tinubu government has no original economic vision for the people? Peter Obi offered Nigerians consumption to production, while Tinubu offered Nigerians hope, renewal with this kind of visions. What you said a lot. So, I wanted to take on some of these things. Do you agree that most of the policies implemented by this administration has been reversed? That's on the one hand, especially because the Minister for State for Petroleum yesterday did say categorically, while he was, reeling out his scorecard, that he says that emphatically that fuel subsidy hasn't returned. Even though it's not clear to Nigerians why we still buy fuel the amount to buy it, considering every indices, right? I'd like to take you on that very quickly.
Yeah. You see, we all know, even the blind knows, that if the fuel is not being subsidized, we'll be buying a liter for over 1,000.
So you're saying that categorically you're sure that there's fuel subsidy?
Even the Rainhall MD CEO, the group CEO of Rainhall, he came on here and said it.
So are you saying that Minister Heine, or Minister for State for Petroleum, Heineken Lukwebre, is lying to us by saying that he's saying categorically that fuel subsidy hasn't returned?
I will not say he's lying. It's a political statement. You need to. You cannot turn against your principal. Why will you? Your principal said A, and you come to the next day you are coming, another person will take your seat. Okay. You must be loyal. That is a loyalty test.
Because he wasn't also able to explain to Nigerians how and why we're buying.
So because there's no statistics, right? What's the subsidy? For me, it's also good. Because it's part of how will I go to filling station as we speak now. If I'm going to fill my car, perhaps I'm spending around 40,000.
Don't say that.
Right.
See the one winding my head.
Okay.
Because my car is about 80 liters, so you can imagine how much I'll use to fill my car.
So you can see 40,000 at time you might use 50,000. So now, if it's now a 1,000 plus, you'll be spending 100,000. Then imagine. So bringing in the subsidy is also a thumb up. Right, and when you also look at this subsidy, it only also affects the average class. Even the people in the village does not know if they've taken subsidy or not, because they only go with bicycle, right, or do a lot of walk to the farm, from the farm home, and every other thing. So most of this palliative does not get to them. The reason why I say that, what happened is that most of the time we are reactive, we are not proactive.
Thank you.
It's on the here that they should remove subsidy. But I think he would have said that, before we remove this, let's put some parameters in place so that once we remove it, the heat will not be on the economy and on the citizen.
And those parameters still now, after 1 year, we're still yet to see them. The CNG buses that were promised, everything that was promised to alleviate the pains of people.
Because unfortunately, when the money was removed from it was used to increase the allocation to the state governors, and the state governor now increased the money they siphon.
But the government promised us that money will also go to into other critical infrastructures that Nigerians need, like better schools,
because the
better
government says
healthcare.
that we are closer to the masses, we will provide it. So if the federal government have done well, he would have said that I will provide a bus and send it to each of those states. So at that point in time, it would have been controlled from the central, so it will reduce the number of funds that will be made available to all the state governors.
Okay. All right. Hello, good evening to you. Sir?
How are you today?
I'm fine, thank you. How about you?
I'm fine.
All right, go ahead. What's your name? Where are you calling from? Go straight ahead.
This is Kelechi from Oshodi.
Kelechi, you're welcome. Go ahead. Let's hear you.
I greet your guest.
He can hear you.
Okay, so I want to just talk about the Lagos-Calabar coastal road.
Okay.
You can see that these people, they are confused. They don't know what to just do. Eh? How can they suspend the demolition of the district? Even now that they notice that there is AI watch for there. These people are just come to destroy this country. I don't know why I don't know how these people are thinking.
All right, I appreciate you. Thank you. But please don't use the word destroy, eh?
Please,
I appreciate
I'm angry.
you. Sorry, don't be. Joval. Oh dear, unfortunately. Okay, so let me go back to YouTube and take a few more reactions and come to WhatsApp, and then we'll go to a step down conversation. You're new to this show, sir. So there's something we call step down conversation. It's where we get to leave the problem of Nigeria and look at other issues. So I'll let you in on that. But let me take a few messages. Akene Ezike says you scored 4/10. You say, did you not see the people crying and rejoicing when Oti went and won? The people have been tortured before now. Yoruba TV says, I swear the prices of baby milk is increasing day by day. What is happening in this Nigeria? Don't even go there. People who are having kids now, I raise hand for now, not too much. Kehinde Kennedy says normal things turn miracles to Nigerians, perhaps reacting to the ABIA state situation. And Gloria Deary says, I have gone through it before. That's talking about the university issue, I guess. And Chinangorom Destiny says, precious, a lot is happening in our tertiary institutions. Oh, wow, really? All right. Hello, good evening. What is happening in this Nigeria? Hello? Yes, you're welcome. What's your name, sir, and where are you calling from?
Sorry, my name is Siwai, calling from the UK.
Siwai, you're welcome. Go ahead.
Yeah, could you ask your friend, because I've sent you a chat, what is a legal route? Does this legal route from Lagos to Calabar coastal route, is it in existence before these private investors put beaches on that route?
Okay, all right, thank you.
What is how can they enforce something that is not in existence before I put my money in?
Thank you.
So what is a legal route?
Thank you so much. I appreciate you. You want to react to that? Okay. All right. Well, this message here says, good evening, precious. Please, your guests tried by scoring this government 3/10. It should be 0 for starving the whole nation just within months. Passy from Ijego sent in that message. And I guess, okay, I think I took that message already. UC from Ijego says, good evening, precious. The jubilation in Aba is worth it. Former Governor T.A. Ojiano Kize Ikpazu destroyed the city of Aba. Do you know that lots of companies and businesses shut down in Aba because of bad roads and insecurity? God bless Governor Oti for giving life to Aba again. That's what you said. Precious, good evening. What's happened in Abia State is just for examples what is happening in many states in Nigeria. What is street light? Our leaders have succeeded in channeling our minds that everything is prayer, to the extent of praying for NEPA to bring light. Destiny from Moshe. Wallah, would you pray for NEPA to bring light? Would they even fast on top? Nigerians are resilient and mentally depressed. Governors think they are doing citizens favor to build common restrooms on the streets. On the dead lady, the lecturer is guilty and liable. He can't deny it. On 1 year of Tinubu, Nigerians are hungry and impoverished because of poor decisions. Mike from Oworonshuki sent in that message. Precious, did you see the name of the lecturer is Professor Amechi Enyi? No, his own is Enyi. His own means elephant. Mine means Enyi, friend. Don't bring me, he said, because he pronounced the surname quietly. Anyways, that man, if he's cause of the girls committing suicide, it's only the right thing that he faces the consequences, right? Okay, that's what you said. And this message says, good evening, pretty Joel, Precious, and also to your wonderful guest. Actually, on the professor's case, I think there should be a thorough investigation in the check her written papers to see if truly she passed it or was invented intentional by the professor. That's what you said. Hello, good evening to you.
Hello, Precious.
Yes, you're welcome. Go ahead. You're my last caller for this segment.
You know who's calling. My name is Joval.
Aha. Thank you. You called me correctly. We'll go straight on fire. Shoot it.
Greeting to your guest now.
He can
I don't
hear
know
you.
his name. I want to greet
Dr. Ganiyu. He's a doctor.
Dr. Ganiyu, I greet you very well, sir. Precious. Some people are after us, so they don't want us to talk. And I've been reporting this. Number two.
Okay.
I want the producer of this show to extend this program. The time is too short for us, but let me go to the point.
Okay.
I want parents who are listening to this program to know this lady that died. Sometimes some parents will push their children to say that it is either you graduate with first class, second class, or else you are no longer my child, or I will no longer sponsor you. You see, this peer pressure, especially coming from parents, they are also part of the reasons why when students don't make that required expected result, some of them will feel inferior to the extent that, look at what has happened. She's dead. We are talking about the lecturer. But I want you to know that this is beyond the lecturer. Of course, lecturers too, they have their own faults.
Thank you. Thank you.
I remember that in my days in the university, then we used to have a lecturer who would tell us that learning will only take place when the student is able to understand what the student is being taught. Apart from that, you have not done anything. So if we have lecturers who are not well trained, who don't understand what it means to impart knowledge into people, some people are not gifted in teaching. So teaching is a call. It's not just something you swing into because you have certificates and all of that, or because there is lack of jobs like we have it in this country now.
All right, I appreciate you, Joval. Thank you so much. Unfortunately, the network is back at you again, so let me kukuma let you go. Thank you so much. You heard all that he said, but let's take a break and go straight to a step-down conversation. So let me introduce a step-down conversation. So a young man rants on the internet. He says he got suspended from work because of some fraud issue at his workplace that happened. I'm sure you would have seen this on the streets of social media. He said he decided to go home to be with his family during that time, in a house that he built, by the way. And he said he jokingly lied to his mother and siblings that he's been fired from work. Then the treatment towards him changed immediately. They started disrespecting him. The mother even told him that she couldn't take care of an adult male and that he should go and hustle. His sisters treated him like he was their junior, and he's also the firstborn of the family after all. Now, his suspension took 3 months. In the end, he was cleared and he was called back to work. He said his mother even told him that she couldn't take it. Okay. He was called back to work. He said he told his family he was returning to Lagos to stay with a friend, not to go back to his work. So these are, according to him, quoting him, he said, these are the people that I have been taking care of since I started working at age 21. I have been responsible for them. They sleep in a house I built. My other sister has a diploma I paid for. I took my suspension to finally see that they only want me when I provide something for them. So when people behave like this towards you, does it really mean that it's because they only like you when you're at your best and don't like you when you're at your best? Because there are some people that these actions or this kind of incident will happen to. They will say, oh, it spurred them to even get better. But then some people would say that, oh, family is the one that probably pushes you to the brim. But is it fair that he'll bring up such a thing about his family online?
He's pained, right? And if one of the things that pain people most is that the people you love and then now stab you at the back.
Okay.
It's like an injury.
Just help me hold that thought of stabbing at the back. Let me quickly do this break and I'll be right back to get more of your thought. Please, after the break, save it up.
Listen to hot critical analysis and top trending topics of the day. Join Precious, Monday to Friday, 7 to 9 p.m. on the evening.
From the views on the street,
We go to bed empty hunger.
to the blaring horns of a hustling city. The loudest voices of the common man got a medium to be heard.
This particular administration, they were coming unprepared.
It's not a bad thing to renovate the president's lodge.
Through top-notch programming, unbiased reportage of news, sports, business, entertainment, and cultural documentaries, Voice of the People 90.3 FM became a symbol for 21st century media. And now, a new baby is born. Voice of the People Television, VOP TV, youthful, full of vigor and pressure for excellence in the continent's media space, exposing the wrongs, applauding the rights, dissecting the news without fear or favor, through factual and accurate stories and contents.
Corruption kills three things that makes a society.
Representing the interests of the people and giving them a voice. Voice of the People TV is here to stay towards building a fair society. VOP TV, Voice of the People Television, truly a voice for the people. If you want to
Listen to hot critical analysis and top trending topics of the day. Join Precious, Monday to Friday, 7 to 9 p.m. on The Evening Rush.
Nigerians, you're welcome back. It is still 90.3 Voice of the People FM. Just about 10 minutes before we wrap up the show. So, Dr. Ganiyu, you were responding to that statement and to that story. And a lot of people will say, oh, in the first place, why lie to your family? And then why bring your family issue to public? And then some people will say, oh, usually you are only useful. You are only needed when you're useful, right? And all of that. You're only as loved as when you're useful. After that, nothing else. But I like you to analyze the situation.
Yeah, I will do it like this. You see, you might not even get annoyed when someone you don't share something common with or you love stabbed you at the back. But those you have done so much for, even to the extent that at what you should use to hit, you use it to take care of them. And the long run, they pay you back with the bad side of the coin.
Do you believe that these things happen in reality and it's
very
not just
well,
made up?
very well.
So you can relate that this is a real life situation.
Very well. So the thing you could do, like you're saying that someone will always say that it's only few people that like you for who you are. They are not much.
But your family should be one of them.
At time is not.
And your mother most especially.
Our time is not always that,
wow.
Right? So when you find people that actually like you, even for who you are, cherish them for they are scarce. Those are the people that will weep with you when you weep. They will laugh with you when you laugh. And they are not so moved when you are making it because they are happy with you, right? So the thing is just like, I think it's because it was... it was pain. That's why I brought it online. In real sense, it shouldn't have bring it online. But at times, some people see it as a way of trying to push away depression. Because if you harbor it and it does not have people to, that's why people are so close to their phone. Once they are passing through things, they push it online. But rather for pushing it online, it could complicate matters. Right? Because you get to get a lot of advice. Most of the thing is it just showed him that, the thing is just like you don't, and also one of the things you learn, you don't stop doing them good. The only thing is just like you don't go extra mile. You don't go extra mile.
Well, how do you not go the extra miles for your family? How do you not just go the extra mile?
The thing is just like you will. You see the source. The thing is just like because going extra mile. Some people become thief today because they want to satisfy what they don't have the capacity to do. Right. So if you go extra mile is also relative. It's also relative. If I have 100,000, right, and after all my expenses, I have 50,000, it will be so stupid of me to give you the whole 50,000 because I know that I might need also something to take care of myself. Haven't you seen somebody that is asking you for money and the phone is using can buy 3 of your phone?
All right, let me quickly take reactions of Nigerians. 0700 903 903 903, 0700 903 903 903, and 0817 175 6338. If you can, just call me on direct call. Hello, good evening. Hello, are you there? Yes?
Hello.
Welcome. Are you there? Oh dear. All right. So I take a few messages because I have quite a number of them. This here says, family, brother, sister, mother, father, sometimes are just earthly company. The only why there's attachment is because you grew up together or upon realizing you share same blood. It doesn't mean they shouldn't act like an enemy. The moment there was no oil on his hands to lick, they started spitting on him. He should choose them. He should chase them out. Let them go and live under the bridge. If this man die, they would only be concerned about eating his properties away. Yusuf from Ijego says, this your step down topic is too common nowadays. Honestly, majority of the people will pretend to love you because of what they are getting from you. When things are difficult, you see those who love you for real. Oh wow. Okay. Okay. All right. Then this here says, good evening, Precious and Doctor. This is my situation right now. Oh, wow. You said that this is actually a real life situation. Happened. He said, this is my situation right now on the step down topic. My family and friends have literally ghosted me. Lessons well learned. The worst is my mom and siblings that I trained to university. Are you serious? Can you share your story with me? Please, I really would love your story, right? And I'll keep you anonymous, I promise. Do me an email at preciousenyitv@gmail.com. The email address is preciousenyitv@gmail.com. Precious ENYITV. That is letter T and V, all in small case, and Precious ENYITV, all in small case, at gmail.com. Kindly do me an email. I would really love to hear your story, and also I'd love to help you onboarding, because sometimes onboarding is very important, All right, then this says, good evening, ma. I wish, this is to show him that blood is no longer thicker than water. This is akuchinyere goodness. Okay. And this says the family members liked him because of what he was providing for them. The persons in them came to the open when they thought he didn't have to give to them. Oh, wow. Hello, good evening.
Hello, good evening.
Good evening. Welcome, sir. What's your name? Oh, wow. Welcome. What's your name, sir?
My name is Kinsley. I'm calling from Kowanja.
You're welcome. Go ahead. Let's hear you.
In terms of ABIA State, when you see a regal...
No, we're not doing ABIA State again. We're on our step-down conversation. We have left the problem of Nigeria to Nigeria right now. We're not facing other problems, I appreciate you. Thank you so much. Thank you, sir. All right. Okay. Let me take some reactions from YouTube, because I have quite a couple of reactions from YouTube. Kene Ezike says, what was that response? He says, step down. Why is he even setting himself and family up by lying about his job status in the first place? If Okukuma no lie about them. Hello, good evening.
Good evening.
Yes, you're welcome. What's your name, sir?
It's Father from Ipaja.
Father, you're welcome. Go ahead. Let's hear you. What's your take on the conversation?
I see that incident as they are taking it as a right and not as love. You understand? They thought it's the right thing. It's their right. As being the first son, he should provide for them. They are not seeing it, but he is seeing it as loving his family. But they are seeing it as a right. It's a mentality thing. Yeah, that's what I have.
Thank you. Thank you so much. So, Dr. Ganiyu, the young man said that, he just went back to Lagos and lied to them he was going to go back to his job, by the way, and lied to them that he was going to stay hang around with a friend to see if he can hustle and do something. Is it fair that he now lied to them again and tried to ghost them?
Yeah, very well, because it's going to reduce burden on him and he will have a breathing space, right? And yes, anything he now send to them, they will appreciate.
All right, let's hear what this person has to say. Hello, good evening.
Hi, Precious.
John, John, welcome.
I would like to start for this. I disagree with your guest when he says, it's a responsibility. Nobody, when it comes to psychological thinking and behavior, nobody can tell anybody how to behave and express his or herself emotionally. That's why you see a way where a guy expresses himself, good or bad. That is him expressing himself. That is the way the girl also is expressing himself. That's where I want to start with. And secondly, there's this thinking of perception that the firstborn has the responsibility to take care of the family. It's not. It's something that was bestowed upon us as a perception, as our thinking. Say, if your papa died, it's the responsibility of the firstborn to take care of the responsibility. What happened to you?
All right,
what happened to your own hand?
Thank you, John. I appreciate you. Thank you, John.
God.
Thank you. We'll have to run. So, AY from Mushi says, Precious, it is your first response. It is your first as a person. Any other person before any other person. There was a lady in my office. She was the breadwinner of her family, paid siblings school fees and all. This lady died 40 days after giving birth. When her husband was taking her corpse to the mortuary, her mother went to her house and started packing foodstuff and all. She was even asking for her pension money. Person will just die. Oh wow. And then this says they are simply wicked and heartless people. All right, Dr. Gani, your part in short very quickly. Let's run.
Yeah, just as a sample of the step down stuff with the in most cases, that's why they all say love yourself first before loving others, right? And you can't love others more than yourself, right? And whatever you want to do, you are not the Messiah, right? You can't take care of other people's need to hurt yourself, right? Just do the best you could do, because it's also part of logical thing to take care of people and to help people. That's what makes life beautiful, right? You makes life beautiful. You see people who you help doing well, and you're happy that you're part of their success.
But so people should not stop doing good, even if they have to love themselves.
Because it's something that even gives fulfillment to life. You feel happy that I've actually contributed to the success of this person.
Thank you. Including when a man wants to chop a woman's... Sorry, when a woman wants to chop a man's money, she should just go down and chop it, because...
there you will use sense.
Lagos, thank you so much. Thank you, Dr. Gani. I just wanted to put that on a light note, Thank you so much for stopping by. I appreciate you. I do hope that you enjoyed your time, by the way.
Good.
Great. Awesome. I wish I could take half of the messages we had. I didn't take up to 20% of them. We had lots of messages and lots of calls. I appreciate you. Thank you for stopping by.
Thank you for having me.
Lagos, my name is Precious Inyi. Dr. Oluwashola Ganiyu is an expert tax collector, auditor, and why now? I shouldn't say that. Okay, I'm sorry, but he's an analyst today on my show. I appreciate you once more. My name is Precious Inyi. Thank you so much for being part of the show. I'll see you again on Monday, hopefully. Have yourself an amazing weekend. Good night.